Alagin lagoy kitista gisubi ko engo ni komite ne taita bunge na ta ne baboro robayota president Rigathi Gachagua oletere ge gotinge alagin lelo tike mo to eni neneta chabota na monet na ta ne ba madi gen kastari ge mo ko chutine kaindo na tet na bagoy robayota president kitista gisubi ni ton agenge ole en karot ne babita bride ko gay mo ko tai bunge na ta ne baboro go ko to ana go nganalen gotinge ag motion na ta ne bagay sto invoice Rigathi Gachagua wale ni tan ko motion gi moch ko goita MP ne baki boysi chero wale mo ay wale tinto ba na tet ne amat ne bagay sto in by sid Rigathi wale ko to moch ko gon kurset ko ti MPs che babonge ne baborora ko wale gay moch ko ti motion ni to in mo ay wale manyo adugo number ro indot and Rigathi.
I want to plead with members of this house. It doesn't matter whether you signed the motion or you did not sign the motion. I have endeavored to persuade each one of you individually that this country requires a serious leadership, and His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is not part of that serious leadership. I have endeavored to persuade each one of you that this country requires leaders who can respect the rule of law. This country requires leaders who can respect the Constitution, and His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua is not one of them. And therefore, I take this time to implore on each one of you, besides our political persuasions, to realize that we want the best for our country. This is the country that we shall bequeath to our children. And if the country is destroyed by reckless leaders like His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, there will be nothing to bequeath our future generations. And therefore persuade each one of you, please vote with your conscience, put Kenya first above your politics when you come to vote. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, members of Parliament, if you listen carefully to His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, and I did say at the time of giving my notice of motion, I have nothing against him as a person. But I was perturbed yesterday because His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua did insult members of Parliament. He insulted the intelligence of members of Parliament. Yes. There are members here who are senior lawyers. There are members here who are senior accountants. There are members here who are teachers. There are members here who are accountants. There are members, all of us are respected in our societies. The people of Kenya have elected us to exercise a constitutional mandate in this country. But His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua did say that most of the members of Parliament signed the motion without reading it. That is an insult to your intelligence. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, in the live interview yesterday, did say that Parliament is a theater of the absurd. In my training as a lawyer, he who insults the jury deserves no mercy from the jury.
Ketege me in logo ketinyege ag motion bagay sto invoice robayota president Rigathi Gachagua gatestai MPs ko botlele tang neregega kotinge agalage lelo tike mo to en Gachagua litota managenge olego supke agalage MPs keti motion bagay sto Rigathi Gachagua kondochin MP na tanaba Mugirango Silvanas Osoro kumoegole nerekin alage MPs na monet na tanaba Malik chemoegole ke moj konyor Gachagua in kastanegina mine kaindo inatet.
But, Honorable Speaker, between 2017 and 2024, the property that, and this is, Honorable Speaker, is in the documents that Mwengi Mutusa has shared, Honorable Mwengi Mutusa has shared with us and tabled in this House, that between 2017 and 2024, he's been able to alter or tamper with those companies, make himself directors in some of those companies, transfer some of those properties to himself, disinherit some of the beneficiaries, the kids of the late, and put them to himself. And then one particular case, Honorable Speaker, is the Olive Garden Realtors, Honorable Speaker, that was actually altered on 2nd of March 2022, using the position of power to his own advantage, Honorable Speaker. How can you explain that? He'll then tell you, Honorable Speaker, that I bought its willing buyer, willing seller. Really? Does it mean that all your money that you've acquired, which is also questionable, the only property that you could identify is the property that is under the care or is supposed to help the family and the widows of your late brother? How wicked can we be? Then you come in full glare of camera and tell the members of the public that please let my brother rest in peace. I decided to hold this property in trust for them, when the brother, the kids, the widows, and the daughters and sons of the late are languishing in poverty and complaining and crying. It is total shame. You cannot use your position for that. Honorable Speaker, these are practical examples, and I'm telling honorable members to acquit themselves and go through ground 7, Honorable Speaker. It is actually on page 16 to 30. This is nothing but gross violation of the law, Honorable Speaker, taking advantage of their own power, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, and you know, even to prove that, you will realize that those companies, by the time the companies were being, some of them were being registered, the new ones, and the time the transfer of these properties were taking place, Honorable Speaker, the whole thing is actually contemporaneous. You need not to be a rocket scientist to know that clearly this is fraud and this is this was taking advantage of the